All right, so we're diving into some pretty intense stuff today.
Yeah.
I gotta say, when I saw the request for a deep dive into, like, the dark side of love, I was intrigued.
Yeah.
Definitely not the typical rom-com fluff, right?
Right. It's not all hearts and flowers.
But let's be real.
Yeah.
Love can be a real roller coaster sometimes.
Absolutely.
So we're working from this suggested podcast outline today.
Okay.
And it's all about exploring those less than sunny aspects of love.
The stuff people don't really talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, one thing that really jumped out at me
Yeah.
is how love, especially romantic love, can be a huge source of anxiety,
Oh, for sure.
which kind of makes sense when you think about it.
Right.
You're putting yourself out there,
Absolutely. You're vulnerable.
totally vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're hoping for acceptance, affection, and that fear of rejection.
Oh, yeah.
It can be crippling.
That's a big one.
Huge.
It can really take hold.
So talk to me about this relationship anxiety thing.
Okay. So relationship anxiety.
Is it just like being insecure in a relationship?
I mean, insecurity is definitely part of it,
Okay.
but it's more than that. It's like these constant worries about the relationship. Is it going to last? What are they thinking?
Oh, yeah.
It's that constant need for reassurance.
Right.
Sometimes even like obsessive thoughts about your partner and their feelings.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It can really mess with your head
Yeah, I can imagine.
and your emotions.
Makes total sense.
And then, of course, there's heartbreak.
Ugh.
When
Wow.
the relationship ends.
That's a whole other beast.
It's rough.
We all know it hurts, obviously.
For sure.
But this outline, it actually linked heartbreak to depression.
Yeah. And,
It seems pretty extreme at first.
it might seem like a leap.
Yeah.
But honestly, the pain of heartbreak can be incredibly intense.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not just a feeling,
Right.
There's an actual physiological response.
Interesting.
When you go through a breakup, your brain actually processes it, like physical pain.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, it activates the same areas
Yeah.
that are associated with grief and loss.
Wow, that's wild.
So you experience changes in sleep, appetite, even motivation, all those classic signs of depression.
So it's not just like feeling sad.
Right.
It's like your brain is actually going through trauma.
It's a real trauma response.
That's heavy.
It is.
And then, of course, you often have the social isolation
Oh, yeah.
that comes with a breakup.
You lose that support system.
Exactly.
So it's no wonder that depression can be a very real consequence.
Yeah, makes sense when you put it that way.
And then?
And then we haven't even touched on toxic relationships,
Oh, right.
which this outline gets into as well.
Yeah, that's where things can get really, dangerous.
Yeah, sure.
Toxic relationships are all about these patterns. Emotional abuse, manipulation, control.
It's not always obvious, is it?
No, not always.
Like, it's not always blatant aggression. It can be subtle.
Absolutely.
Little acts of disrespect,
Mm-hmm.
trying to isolate you from your friends and family.
Yeah. Chipping away at your support network.
So how can someone tell if they're in a toxic relationship?
That's a great question.
What are some red flags to watch out for?
Well, one big one is constant criticism and belittling.
Okay.
If your partner is always putting you down, making you feel bad about yourself, that's a major problem.
Yeah, that's not good.
Another thing to watch out for is gaslighting,
Gaslighting.
where your partner tries to distort reality, make you question your own perceptions.
Wow, that's messed up.
It is.
It's like they're manipulating you
Exactly.
into thinking the problem is you,
Yeah.
not them.
That's exactly what they're doing.
And that's got to be so hard to break free from.
It's incredibly difficult.
It's scary how easy it is to fall into those patterns.
And then you add in...
And then you add in all the societal pressure
Oh, yeah.
to find the one,
The fairy tale
a
ending.
perfect love story.
Right.
Like this outline was saying.
Mhm.
These unrealistic expectations.
They can really mess with our heads. Absolutely.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
The romantic comedies.
The love song.
The fairy tales we grew up with.
It's all this idealized, often unattainable vision of love.
Right. And then social media comes along
Oh, man.
and just amplifies it all.
Bamst.
Showing these picture-perfect relationships.
Which, let's be honest,
Yeah.
rarely reflect reality.
Never. So no wonder so many people feel inadequate
Yeah.
or disappointed in their own love lives.
Because they're comparing themselves to something that doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
And where does that leave us?
Right. It's kind of disheartening
Yeah.
to realize how much potential there is for love to hurt.
I understand that feeling.
Yeah.
But I think the key takeaway here is awareness.
Okay.
Understanding the potential downsides doesn't mean we should avoid love altogether.
Right.
It just means we need to approach it with open eyes.
Be realistic.
Exactly.
Be mindful of our own well-being.
Yes.
Set boundaries.
Absolutely.
And remember that healthy relationships take work. It's not all sunshine and roses.
It's a partnership.
There will be challenges,
Disagreement.
times when you need to communicate.
Honestly and openly.
Yeah, exactly. It's not always easy.
But it's worth it.
So, for anyone listening out there
Yeah.
who's maybe feeling a little disillusioned
Yeah.
or just wants to be more mindful about their own experiences,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this question.
Okay, shoot.
Knowing what we've talked about today,
About societal pressures and unrealistic expectations.
how can we, as individuals,
Yeah.
contribute to a more balanced,
Realistic.
healthier view of love and relationships?
That's the million-dollar question.
Food for thought.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been real.
Until next time.
See you then.